I'm Bethany. Thanks for watching. I'm going to show you how to use some old leather to make jewelry. This is, again, a wonderful opportunity to invite friends over, have a party, have everyone bring something to eat. I would prefer that you use old leather instead of purchasing leather. You can go to the craft store, use a coupon and buy leather. There's actually a leather section at craft stores. The leather punch and the leather brads and the leather itself will actually be in a leather section. So make sure you use a coupon for everything that you buy at the craft store. And if you take the list of supplies and divide it out amongst the number of guests that you're going to have over, each of you could purchase some of them and bring them to the party, and then each person needs to bring at least one recyclable leather piece. It can be a belt, it can be a purse, it can be an old leather jacket, old leather boots, those really tall boots that we all had at one point. And you also need to make sure it's thin enough that you can work with it easily. Some leather's super thick and you don't really want that. And you also need to make sure that you like the way it looks on both sides. For this project, you will need a leather puncher at the craft store with a coupon. You'll need 2 sets of pliers. They don't have to be jewelry pliers, they can be regular household pliers. Super glue, 1 permanent marker Sharpie that is thin, and you can also use metallic permanent Sharpies to make decorations on your leather. A really sharp pair of scissors. Ribbon clasps that are in the jewelry section at the craft store. Also earring findings. Finding is the word for just any kind of jewelry making pieces. You'll need cord clasps, leather, and hopefully all your guests at your leather jewelry making party will bring different colors. You'll also need leather brads, and for the necklace, you'll need chain that matches the jump rings, those little rings. You want the metals to all match for your pieces. So when you go buy those, make sure that the metals you pick are the same. And then if you're going to give these as gifts, you can buy little earring cards, necklace cards, and the clear backs to keep them on there. They're really tiny in that picture, but they're the little clear things that when you buy earrings, it keeps them on the card. And if you go to the store and you purchase earrings, start keeping those little plastic backings. First thing you're going to do is take your cord clasp, and I've got bright silver. Take your pliers and grab both ends of this, pull them out. You're going to basically flatten this. Do that to the other one. You want to treat the leather like you would cookie dough, and don't make it right in the center and waste all of this. Mark, leaving a little bit of space. You're going to mark where the edges of just on the outside of this clasp there, so you know how wide to make the top of your earring. And then you decide how long you want your earrings to be. So I'm going to make bigger ones just so they're easier to see. Pick a shape you want. And to make it symmetrical, you will cut it, fold it over, and trace the other side. So make sure you cut off the marker. You do not want the marker being seen. So I'm just going to fold it over. Trace it. And cut off that marker. I think it's fun to make up your own shapes. Makes it a little more interesting. So then, if it is symmetrical, it doesn't matter, but if it's not symmetrical, you want to flip it over so that they are mirror images of each other. So this isn't perfectly symmetrical. It's going to look much more like a leaf or a flower petal because it's not perfect. So I'm going to trace it. and cut it up. So now I have my two shapes for the earrings. I am going to use the tiniest amount possible of super glue. Put two little dots in the center on the edges, and then place your leather right on top, because we measured it, right on top of the opening there. And there is a little thing that grabs the leather right there. You can kind of work that in a little bit. Once it's dry, you're going to bend both ends back in, just the way they were before, so don't overshoot it, but bend it in, and you need to really pinch it down. So they're going to overlap. So I pinched it down, and then I'm going to grab the other side, fold it in. This is where you might need to use 2 pair of pliers just to get that holding one side and bending the other. Yeah. Once you get it started, it's not too bad. Okay, so those 2 halves are going to fold in over top of each other, and you're going to pinch them down as hard as you can. If you have arthritis or you have issues and can't pinch really hard, have someone else do it for you. I'm going to make sure that these pliers are not the needle nose pliers. They need to be flat so that you can get this perfectly flat. It's flat right now. We want to fold it in thirds. I'm going to fold one side in, smash it down, grab the other side, fold it in. These things are not expensive, so if you mess it up, just do it again. Especially if you use recycled leather. Go to Goodwill and or your local thrift store and get some leather. Okay, the last thing you're going to do, when you open up the little tiny rings on any kind of jewelry pieces, you don't want to open the ring like this. You want to spread it apart. It's easier to clasp back together. This ring has an opening. I'm going to fold it out. Make sure your leather's facing forward and bend it back, making sure that it's complete. Look how easy that is. Isn't that pretty? I really like the teal. Okay, so one more time. Take the earring, bend the loop sideways, not apart. Make sure your earring's facing forward. And bend it back. And you have really, really cute earrings. Then, if you want to do some sort of decoration, you don't have to, but you can make it look like it's dipped. Get on Pinterest and look up leather earrings, find some pretty options. Just want to make sure that they match. And if you get really good at a design, make a few of them and have your friends make their favorite design, and then you can swap at the end of the night. Aren't those pretty? Then if you want to give them as gifts, which I always say, make things in batches. That way you can give them to people all year. Just keep a little area with the things that you've made all ready to go. Then add the teeny tiny hard to see plastic backing. So that they don't fall off. And look at those. So now let's make a necklace. This is a black leather briefcase that my husband had, and all the stitching started coming off, and so it's leather. We're going to use ribbon clasps. And because it's black, you need to use a pen that will show up. So we're going to draw in where the sides of the ribbon clasp are. And if you want to print something out, you can, but you don't have to. So I'm going to do something like that this time. You want it to be the same width as your clasp, otherwise it'll go out on the sides and just not look professional. Make sure you cut off where the marker is. Fold it over. I have been told that leather holds essential oils. So now we're going to put our ribbon clasp on the top. Use our flat pliers. Pinch nice and tight. This is a leather puncher, and they're surprisingly inexpensive. You use this little tool to pry this up, and then you can rotate the leather puncher to make different sizes of holes. So you want to make a hole just like when you're drilling something. We're going to put brads in this, leather brads, and you want to make a hole that's a little bit smaller than the hole of the brad, so it's nice and tight. You don't want it to be too loose. It's up to you where you want to put your punches. It's fun to experiment, but close to the bottom, but not right at the bottom. You do want to put the holes pretty close to the edge. That way there's a nice tight pinch. You can pull. The fold isn't tiny and looks awkward. The fold comes all the way from the outside. The leather brads have a front and a back. We want to fold it forward, so we are going to put it on the back side. Put it through. Put the back on the brad. Use your pliers again to pinch it. You'll feel it click. It's nice and tight. And there we have an organic flower looking pendant. If you want to do something fun, you can. I guess it might be a little easier to do the drawing before you pinch it. This done, you're going to need 2 jump rings. This is a jump ring. They come in lots of sizes. You always want to match your jump ring to all the other pieces you're using. Again, we're going to pull it to the side, not apart. You're going to put 1 jump ring in your pendant. Cut your chain so it's long enough to put over your head. Take a 2nd jump ring, open it. You're going to put it through your pendant and both of the little tiny chain links on the end of your necklace. You have to do 2 jump rings, because if you don't, your pendant will hang sideways. Use your pliers to hold everything. It's kind of tricky. The bigger the chain links on your necklace, the easier. Just so you know. Okay, then we're going to shut it. And you're done. So a lot of jewelry making is just learning what pieces to buy and how they all go together. So I've changed my jewelry to be what we made together. Be creative, look things up, try new things, try what other people have done, and you come up with your own things too. Use the right side of your brain, so some endorphins are coming and everybody's happy. Invite some friends over. Try really hard to make this an event where you get free leather from other people, a lot of jewelry, a lot of gifts to give in one night. And with that special group of people, share the sweetness of creativity. I will be making a video soon on how to make a gift basket that includes leather jewelry, so be watching for it.